Hi guys, it's me ShazzaHD and welcome to the first content to do with the 2019 Azerbaijan Grand Prix weekend. It is the Practice 2 watch-along for the Baku 2019 weekend. Hopefully you guys are doing well on what is for me a Friday afternoon, and I'm looking forward to seeing the real first action of these cars in Baku this weekend, because as I'm about to get onto in a moment, in FP1 there really wasn't a session to be had, and I'll get into that in a moment. But yeah, hopefully you guys, no matter where you are in the world, are doing well on what is a decent Friday afternoon for me. But I think now we'll just get into what was a calamity-filled FP1. Now, practice 1 did not last very long because after Charles Leclerc I think dislodged a manhole cover on the second DRS straight, George Russell then in the Williams ran over it and destroyed the diffuser and that part of the car by running over it. Very, very dangerous moment. Something we do not want to see, because that is very dangerous for drivers and especially for cars. And then after that, after his car was then put on a tow truck, the tow truck then, as it was going back to the pits, crashed into a bridge, a low bridge. Just a hilarious moment. It's something you would see on, say, well, it used to be Top Gear, but now the Grand Tour. And it's something that just screams of Clarkson, Hammond and May. That type of thing happening. It was such a funny moment. Also, they were at the... They were in Baku not too long ago, so maybe they were responsible for those manhole covers. Who knows? But I have to say, I know for Williams it's not funny, but I thought it was a very, very funny moment. I thought it was great, and it pretty much sums up Williams' season, and it will sum up their season by the time we get to Abu Dhabi anyway. But then all the marshals had to go around and check every single manhole cover and make sure it was welded down to the ground so it was not dangerous for the drivers and the cars. So that's why really practice 1 never got underway again, because they had to make sure that the track was safe. And after watching Formula 2 qualifying, which ended about 20 minutes ago, I'm pleased to say that no manhole covers came loose, and I think we are going to get a proper practice 2 session and our first real practice of the 2019 Azerbaijan Grand Prix weekend. But a disaster to start off the weekend, no doubt about it. Absolute disaster. And hopefully that is not setting off, say, a trend for what is going to happen for the rest of the weekend. I'm hoping this isn't something that's going to continue to happen over the weekend. But because there was no real running in practice 1, there's no results to show you. So I'm going to preview how I think the teams are going to most likely look in practice 2. Just to let you know, most of these pictures are from last year at the Baku weekend, just to let you know that. So we'll start off with Mercedes, who of course, first 3 races have had a 1-2 finish, and coming to Baku as absolutely the team to beat and the most confident team in Formula 1. Can they carry that out? Another, a race winner 1-2 this weekend. I think they can. Pace-wise, I don't think pace-wise they will be as good as they were in Shanghai. I think this track will suit Ferrari more so than them. So pace-wise, I think they are still going to be strong, but I don't think necessarily they will have the absolute best car like they did a fortnight ago. Next up is Ferrari. I expect Ferrari to have the best car, and because they brought a massive amount of upgrades to this Grand Prix to try and close the gap to their big rivals Mercedes, they have to have the best car this weekend, and they have to win this Grand Prix come hell or high water. And yeah, pace-wise, I think they will have the best car. It will still be close between the top 2, but I think Ferrari will. And to be honest, they really should have the best car, given how the Baku track is. So hopefully they do actually show the speed that we know they do have in that car. They just are struggling to unlock that speed in the car at the moment. Next up is Red Bull. Of course, last year was a disaster with the two drivers crashing. This year, pace-wise, I expect them to be firmly third fastest. They do actually have a new ICE from Honda. I believe also for Toro Rosso, but I know it is definitely for Red Bull this weekend. They have a new ICE from Honda. So maybe on the straights they'll be a bit quicker, meaning that maybe they could be closer to the top, but most likely they're going to be 5th and 6th. I don't think realistically they can be right at the top. I just don't see it. Hopefully I'm proved wrong, but yeah, I think P5 and P6 is a realistic position to expect Red Bull to be in pace-wise here in Baku. Now let's go on to the midfield. Renault, I think Renault will be in the top 10, but I'm not sure it will be with both cars. I think one of the cars will be in the top 10, one of them outside of it. I just don't think this track suits their car as much as the Shanghai track does. So I think in Baku, they won't be terrible, but they won't be as good as they were a fortnight ago. But expect them to definitely be in the fight at the front of the midfield. Next up is McLaren. I think McLaren will be better this weekend than they were 2 weeks ago in China. I think this track, given the way the car looks to be so far in 2019, I think the McLaren car will be better this weekend, as it's, I think, better suited to this track than the track in Shanghai. So yeah, I think McLaren will be better. Whether they'll be good, I don't know. I'm hoping they are, but I don't know if they'll be, properly good, but they should be better than they were in China. Next up is Alfa Romeo. 2 weeks ago, they weren't that quick. They did get a points finish, but they weren't that quick with their car compared to other teams like Renault and even in qualifying, to be honest, Haas. But they did get a great result with Kimi Raikkonen, of course, P9 in the Grand Prix. But this weekend, pace-wise, they should be stronger. I think Kimi Raikkonen will be featuring very strongly at the front of the midfield. Whether he will be at the front of the midfield, I don't know. We'll have to see in practice too how the Alfa Romeo car is doing, but I think he will be strong. And for Antonio Giovinazzi, well, bad news for him. He will take a 10-place grid penalty, so he will start, of course, at the back, because with the way he's been in 2019, he only qualifies in, 17th, 18th place anyway, so he will start at the back for this Grand Prix. To be honest, he should probably just take his car out of Parc Fermé and change everything on the car, because there's no real point for him taking part in qualifying or anything like that, because he's going to start at the back. So I think, yeah, pace wise should be better than 2 weeks ago, but not massively. But again, should be better. And with Kimi Raikkonen and with the way he's been in 2019, don't be surprised if he is in a P7 or P8 type of position. Next up is Haas. Haas are really struggling at the moment in China. Pace-wise, they weren't that strong in qualifying. They did okay, but in the Grand Prix, they were terrible. And I don't think that is going to improve in Baku, because I just don't think this track suits their car. Also, we have softer tyres here than we did, I think, in Shanghai. I think we have softer tyres, or it's the same type of compound, but definitely the tyres are not going to help Haas's predicament this weekend. And yeah, I think Haas, they'll be in the midfield battle for sure, definitely around 9th, 10th, all the way back to say 12th or 13th. But with the way 2019 continues to go for them, I just don't see Haas being that special in Baku, and I think they're waiting, to be honest, for some proper upgrades in Barcelona in a fortnight. So, yeah, I'm not expecting that much from Haas. Hopefully they, impress and maybe do better than we think, but I don't think they're going to be that special. Next up is Toro Rosso. Toro Rosso are going to be, again, they're going to be in that battle in the midfield, but I don't think they're going to be that strong. I'm expecting them to be, say, around the 12th to 13th area. They could definitely be a top 10 runner if they can, maximize the laps and everything like that. But I just realistically think 12th and 13th is about where they will be. So in practice too, again, they'll be in the midfield battle, but they're not going to be that strong. But at least for them, they're in that battle, because I think 12 months ago at the same track, they weren't really, properly in the battle in the midfield, at the front of the midfield. And I think this year they're not absolutely the front of the midfield, but they're closer to that area, and it's nice to see. So they're in there, but not amazing. Definitely not amazing. Next up is Racing Point. As we know, this team loves Baku, because when they were Force India, they had a podium in 2016. They could have had not only a podium, but a race win, if not a 1-2 finish in 2017, if it wasn't for Esteban Ocon. And then, of course, last year in 2018, Sergio Perez finished in third. So historically, they should be very strong here. Now, whether they will be or not, I don't know. I really want to see in practice too how they're going, because I'm not sure yet they're going to be maybe as strong as we were expecting. But given their history at Baku, they should be really strong here. They really should. Whether they will be, again, I don't know. But let's hope that history repeats itself for Racing Point. And then finally is Williams, who, of course, are going to be at the back. I will say, though, Baku is probably one of the better tracks on the calendar, but that's not going to mean they're going to be able to compete with any midfield teams. And because of George Russell's disaster in FP1, the Williams team now have to completely rebuild his car, meaning that due to the regulations, he will not be competing in practice 2. And the next time you'll see him will be practice 3. So his weekend is pretty much, a disaster, and is pretty much over. I mean, he might still beat Robert Kubica, but it's not a great way, is it, to start a weekend to be that, well, not really that far off the pace, but you know what I mean, to be having that in practice 1 and having your car now completely rebuilt. It's not the best way to start off a weekend. In fact, it's the worst way to start off a weekend. So not looking good for him. And there you go. But now with about just over 15 minutes to go until the start of practice 2, let me know right now in the chat, guys, and the comment section, who do you expect to be quick and not so quick here in Baku? And then for the next 10 minutes or so, I will read out as many comments as I can in regards to exactly that. Just want to say, though, don't forget to subscribe for more content coming up on the channel to do with the 2019 Azerbaijan Grand Prix, as tomorrow at 1 PM UK time, I will be live for qualifying with the qualifying watch-along, and then live again at 6 PM UK time for the review of qualifying. So make sure to subscribe to the channel. You can do it on the bottom right of the screen, or go to my homepage and subscribe, and also hit the notifications bell. That's very important that you do so. But before I read out some comments, I think I will take a quick drink of my water to keep my throat in the optimum condition, and then we'll get to reading some of your comments in just a moment. Right, now, let's read out some of your comments and see what you guys have to say ahead of practice 2. Let me just read out some comments. Dexter Hall says, "Hey Chaz, just got on. What did I miss?" Well, nothing. Practice 2 hasn't started yet. We're about 15 minutes away from the start of practice 2. And the only thing you've missed is the disaster that was practice 1, but there you go. Right, let me try and find more comments. Magav says, love you, Chaz. Thank you very much. Right, let me find some comments here. Astro Stevo says, Mercedes will be quick and dominate, I suspect. Hopefully Bottas can take it to Lewis this time, but not sure. I want to say this in case I jinx him. Yeah, in terms of the World Championship, we need Valtteri Bottas to beat Hamilton this weekend. Not because, by the way, I don't like Hamilton or anything like that. I don't hate or dislike any of the drivers. But to make, the World Drivers' Championship interesting, we need Bottas to come back at Lewis Hamilton this weekend. And also for Ferrari to strike back in the championship as well. So preferably from a Drivers' Championship standpoint, if we had a Ferrari 1-2 and then Bottas beating Hamilton, then the championship would close up quite nicely. So, yeah, from that point of view, that'd be nice to see. But as long as we get a great race, I could care less, to be honest, who wins the Grand Prix. As long as it's, it's typical chaotic Baku Grand Prix, that for me is all that matters. Daniel says Lewis Hamilton will be the winner. Okay. Justin says, I just hope race will not be boring, because you can't have crazy race every time here. Yeah, with Baku, to be honest, if you don't get a crazy race, you're probably going to get a boring one. It's that type of track. There's no middle ground. It's either going to be very, very exciting or very, very boring. So, yeah, I think if we get a safety car on Sunday, I think that will probably lead to, an exciting Grand Prix. But if we have, no start line crashes and everyone gets away fine, then it might settle into a not so great Grand Prix. Because, last year we had what, 2 safety cars last year, and then in 2017 it was like 4 with a red flag. So we kind of need a safety car to make this race as exciting as possible. Botty Gamer says, last time a free practice session didn't happen, we saw a very unexpected winner. This time I'm very excited. Stroll fanboy just saying it can happen. Yeah, when this type of thing happens, it does tend to lead to an exciting Grand Prix. I think this happened, I know it happened at COTA in 2015, but that was because of, I think, a tornado warning or rain or something like that. And it led to an epic, what was at the time, title decider. I think also in 2018, we didn't have that much running at the US Grand Prix on Friday. And yeah, it led to a great weekend. So don't be disappointed that we didn't have a practice 1, because that can normally lead, because the teams now have a lack of data going into qualifying in the Grand Prix, that can normally lead to an exciting race, because the teams don't quite know what to expect from their cars and also from the track in terms of the grip the track is going to give them, because they need to be on the track as much as possible to find out how the track's going to be and how their car's going to be at certain temperatures and, points of the day and points of the track. So practice for these cars is vital, but when you take it away from them, you take away a lot of key data, and again, that can lead to quite an exciting Grand Prix. I'll move on to another picture. There is Charles Leclerc. By the way, that was took when Leclerc was looking at why Russell was stopped on the track. So this was took about, what, 3 hours ago? Something like that. But let me read out some more comments from you guys in the live chat. By the way, if you're watching this after it's finished, after the stream is finished, you can see the live chat replay on the right-hand side of the screen, hopefully. So if you look to the right-hand side of the screen, you should be able to see that. Yeah, there you go. Count Blah says, this is a nice surprise. FP1 top 3, anyone? Yeah, there wasn't an FP1, so I'm not gonna read out the results because again, there wasn't an FP1. By the way, Astro Stevo, yes, Antonio Giovinazzi's penalty was confirmed. It's 10 places. It was confirmed about, I think, an hour or two ago. So yeah, Giovinazzi will take a 10-place grid penalty for this weekend's Grand Prix. As I'm not going to read out your first name because I'm probably going to butcher it, but Earl, I'll say. He says Lewis Hamilton all the way just to prove he is the best driver ever. Then he just needs to win 3 more world titles to stick it to Schumacher. He doesn't spell Schumacher in the right way, but I don't care, to be honest. If Lewis Hamilton wants to become the best driver of all time, he needs to get 100 pole positions, break the race win record, which is 91, and that's held, of course, by Michael Schumacher. And I would say if he wins 2 more world titles, so, 2 more world titles, breaks the wins record, and has 100 pole positions, if he does that, I would be prepared to say that Lewis Hamilton is the greatest driver of all time. But until then, I cannot say that. I think he's a top 5 all-time driver, but I don't think quite yet he is, absolutely confirmed, say, a top 3 all-time or the best of all time. We need to wait and see how he does in 2019 and 2020. Right, let me find some more comments. Tonka Toy Truck says this is a mixed track, got to be good in the corners and the straights, very technical. Yeah, the middle sector is a very technical part of the track, and that's where Ferrari, if their issues are still affecting them, which we'll see if they are or not, if they are, that's where they're going to lose out, is the middle sector. But in the first and third sector, the Ferrari should be very strong, if not the best car in that area of the track. Let me just move on to this picture of the 2 Red Bull drivers. That's the closest these 2 will be this weekend. Let me just look at some more comments here. Tonka Toy Truck also says you cannot compare records over the years. Too much has changed. No, I think you can. This is the thing. Formula One, yes, it has gone through many changes over the years rather. But fundamentally, Formula One still kind of remains the same. The fundamentals are still the same. So I think we can, to be honest. But yeah. Let me find some more comments from you guys in the live chat. Magath says Stroll will be right there among the Red Bulls if there is chaos. Let's wait and see on that. I don't know for sure if Racing Point are going to be that quick. I hope they are, because if they are, then I think they're going to be good. But I don't think we can say absolutely Racing Point are going to be, very, very strong. Count Blast says so funny that now it's Mercedes, good in the tight bits between the 2 of them. Yeah, it is because in 2017 and 2018, Ferrari were better when it came to that area, but now it's swapped around in terms of the strengths and weaknesses of both cars. So yeah, it's quite funny that it's gone like that. But that's just the way it is, I guess. And also with the new regulations, I think it has thrown a couple teams, no pun intended, off balance. But I think, and Prussia, by the way, just saying Mercedes will get a 1-2 this weekend, in my opinion. To be honest, again, I don't hate Mercedes, but I hope not. I want to see a proper 2019 scrap. I don't want to see them doing what Ferrari did in 2004. I don't want to see that. I want to see a proper fight. I think we can get one, but it's just down to Ferrari maximizing what they have in the car, and also Red Bull developing as best they can over the course of the season, because we know Red Bull are the best team in Formula One for developing their car over a season. What we need is for them to continue to do that, so at the end of the season they're very competitive. But we do desperately need Ferrari to start maximizing what they have in their car, because quite frankly, I don't think they really have so far in 2019. I mean, yeah, Bahrain pace wise, yeah, I think they maximised the pace of the car there, but of course what happened with the reliability issue and Vettel spinning. But in Australia they should have been better, and in Shanghai I think they were lacking quite a bit as well. So yeah, hopefully Ferrari, definitely in practice too, hopefully Ferrari can show whether these upgrades are going to be enough for them to now be right there with Mercedes, because for their season and the excitement, I think, of 2019, we need that. We desperately need that. But I'll just quickly show this picture. It's not the greatest quality picture, but I just want to show this. This was when George Russell earlier had his car took back to the pits, but now with about how many minutes to go? About 3 minutes to go, 4 minutes to go. Make sure, guys, to get ready for the start of qualifying. Not qualifying, the start of practice too. I'm getting ahead of myself already. But yeah, make sure to get ready for the start of practice 2, which starts in about 3 minutes time. I'll also put this picture on the screen. Let me just get it up. There you go, that's Lewis Hamilton signing an autograph for a Ferrari fan, which is a bit weird, but there you go. Nice to see him doing that. And now I will get the running order going. By the way, this running order has not been updated since post-race in China. So this is not the live running order. This is the finishing order of the last Grand Prix. And once we get enough times on the board, I will update this as to the actual order it is. So don't worry, I will update it. But of course, practice 2 has not quite started yet. It starts in about 3 minutes time. So yeah, we'll wait till then. I'll read out some more comments from you guys to see what you're saying. Count Blart, so Chaz and time travels, I see. Yes, indeed. Let me try and find some more comments if I can that I missed whilst setting everything up there. Let me just find some more comments here. Astro Stevo says could be another 2016 type season or 1988 type for those with really long memories. It won't be like 1988. It won't. And I know also that Mercedes are the first team since Williams in 1992 to have 3-1-2s at the start of a season in the first 3 races. But I need to make this point clear. They will not have a 1992 Williams-esque season. That will not happen, and I can guarantee it, because the Williams car was so far clear of the rest of the field. The Mercedes car, when it's properly quick, is probably 1/4 of a second to 1/3 of a second faster than anyone else when they're at the track that really suits their car. The Williams car, at times, was 1.5 seconds a lap faster. There's no comparison to be had. Yes, results-wise, it's the same. But in terms of the pace of the cars, there's no, correlation. There's no similarity. They're not going to do what they did. They're not that quick. They're not 1.5 or 2 seconds a lap quicker. So let's calm down with this whole, they're going to dominate the entire season and everyone's going to be running scared and all that crap. It's not going to happen. Ferrari will eventually win. Red Bull will get a win. And I think, hopefully, from this race on, if Ferrari's upgrades work, we'll get a proper 2019 fight. But it's not going to be like Williams in 1992. Even though, yes, they have replicated what they have done so far, it's not going to be like that season because their car is simply not as quick as that Williams car was that season. There's no comparison. But anyway, practice 2 has started, and the 2 Mercedes drivers are the first 2 drivers on track, Bottas and Hamilton, and then comes out Botty Gamer's favourite driver, Lance Stroll. So there you go, the start of practice 2, and we'll see if they immediately go for lap times. I think they will, to be honest, because you know, practice 1, of course, they didn't do any running. So, well, they did do, you know, 2 or 3 laps, some of the teams, but some teams didn't do any running at all. So I think the teams are just going to go out there and go for lap times straight away that they would have completed in practice 1. By the way, just want to say again, it is very nice to see Ted Kravitz in the pit lane here in Baku. I'm not sure if he will be at the next Grand Prix in Spain, but he is here in Baku. But sad news is that Martin Brundle is not in Baku because he is this weekend racing at the Nürburgring at the Nordschleife. So good luck to him. But it's a shame to see him not at this Grand Prix. But I think, as has become clear, Martin cannot, you know, do every single race this season. So, yeah, there you go. But now, we have Valtteri Bottas still warming up his tyres as he now comes onto the pit straight. So, this will either be him pitting or going around another time to warm up those... what compound is that? That's the medium compound. As the 2 Mercedes on the pit straight, are they going to complete a lap or start a lap? Yes, they are. Bottas and Hamilton on the run down to turn 1. And there they go. They have started their first lap time, but I don't think this is going to be a very fast one because Bottas locks up and goes straight on, and his rear wing slightly clips the wall when spinning his car back round down at turn 2. So that's an embarrassing way to start practice 2 for Bottas. Went straight on at turn 2. Here's a replay. Yeah, locked the outside front, spun his car around, did clip the wall slightly with his rear wing, and got going again. So embarrassing way to start practice 2. And yeah, we definitely clouted the wall there. Yeah, because the track hasn't had that much running on it because of the lack of action in practice 1, I think we are going to see drivers struggling for sure here in practice 2. Just look at Bottas a minute ago, as Lewis Hamilton now on the medium compound tyres is about to complete the middle sector as he now comes up to... Yep, now he's coming up to the final proper corner on this track, and so far has done a 1 minute 24.3 so far in his lap, and now comes through the S's onto the pit straight. The reason I say the corner right at the end of the middle sector is the last proper corner is because it's the last corner you actually have to brake and properly, you know, manage, because the 2 S's onto the pit straight are completely flat out, so they're no issue at all. But Lewis Hamilton has just done the first lap time of the day, I think, and Giovinazzi now goes fastest. But these lap times are not going to be that quick because, again, there's not been that much running on this track. It's a dirty track, and yeah, we're not going to see that quick a lap time. Giovinazzi is fastest at the moment on a 150 flat. So that is, well, that's a very slow lap time considering what we're likely to see at the end of practice 2 and especially in qualifying. But I'll just quickly put this on the screen. The Red Bull of Pierre Gasly, who is he out on the track? Yes, he is. He's on an outlap right now. It's Pierre Gasly. So Pierre Gasly on an outlap. Hopefully can have a better weekend here than he's had all season so far. So far we have 10 lap times on the board. The other 10 have not set a lap time, so I'll wait to update the running order until we actually have a proper order of sorts. Kevin Magnussen does go fastest for Haas. And Perez goes up to 3rd. Now Ricciardo goes up to 3rd. And Hülkenberg has massively lifted off at the end of the lap. Here's a replay of Valtteri Bottas down to turn 1 and locks the inside front and goes off again. He is struggling here in practice too. That's 2 lockups and 2 times in what? 5 minutes that he's gone off the track. And now we have another driver. Oh, Kimi Räikkönen has gone fastest from Giovinazzi 2nd. So Alfa Romeo 1-2. If you're an Alfa Romeo fan, make sure to screenshot the order, as an Alfa Romeo there just went off the track. I don't know which one though. And now I'm just trying to see. We've now got a Haas on a lap. This is Kevin Magnussen on the medium compound tyres, coming to end another lap. Gets very close to the wall there, and now completes the middle sector as Lando Norris goes up to P4 in the McLaren. And Magnussen now comes onto the pit straight for real, and we'll see where he goes. He's currently in 3rd, as Alexander Albon goes up to 2nd. And K-Mag has done the fastest middle sector so far and goes fastest by 0.2 of a second. Again, because of the lack of running, the later in the session you set your lap, the better your lap's going to be, because this track in terms of grip is ramping up a lot right now. So yeah, if you can set your quick lap as late as possible, as another car goes off the track. It was a Renault of, I want to say Hülkenberg, because he hasn't set a proper lap time so far. But yeah, plenty of cars going off so far. This might be a very eventful practice too. Charles Leclerc, by the way, is on a lap. He is about to go fastest of all. He's a 2.5 up on Kevin Magnussen through the middle sector. And here he comes onto the pit straight, and let's see where he goes. Bottas finally does a clean lap and goes up to P4. And here comes Charles Leclerc up to the line and goes massively faster. Yep, a 46.1, 1.3 seconds clear of Kevin Magnussen in the Haas. Very, very quick lap time compared to everyone else so far for Charles Leclerc. But I'm sure all the other teams can improve massively on that. Here's a replay of Daniel Ricciardo. And yeah, got straddled there on the curb on the run to the pit straight. So, and here's a replay of, is that Ricciardo? Yeah, Ricciardo. So that's who went off then at turn 1. It was Ricciardo massively locking his inside front tyre, and that tyre is now completely dead. There's no point Ricciardo continuing on with that tyre, as Max Verstappen is now on his first lap of the day, and Vettel is as well. And Verstappen, well, we'll see what he does in a moment. I just want to put another picture on the screen showing Bottas. It doesn't quite show it here, but he did touch the wall when he spun around, but you can kind of see it there. What I was talking about just a moment ago, as Gasly now goes up to P5. Max Verstappen is about to come to the end of the middle sector. Sebastian Vettel's on a lap for his first sector is not faster than Charles Leclerc. We've got a yellow flag in sector 1. Max Verstappen so far about 3 seconds off the pace. Lewis Hamilton does go fastest on a 46.1. And let's see what Verstappen can do. I think Verstappen is going to come back into the pit lane. No, he doesn't. Continues on the pit straight. He will go 13th. Of course, he can go faster than that. That was probably a warm-up lap for him. Here comes Vettel and goes 5th. So, now that we have almost everyone's lap time up there, I am going to try now and update the running order as quickly as I can. So, Lewis Hamilton is fastest, as we're now 10 minutes in to practice 2. Charles Leclerc is 2nd. Kimi Raikkonen is up to 3rd. Kevin Magnussen is 4th. Alexander Albon just went 5th in the Toro Rosso. He's looking to impress, considering that Pierre Gasly in the top team is under pressure. Vettel is 6th. Valtteri Bottas is in P7 as Lewis Hamilton goes off the track at the castle section. I don't think he hit the wall. I think he went straight on. There you go. So yeah, Bottas 7th. Stroll is 8th. And then you got Gasly in P9. By the way, I just want to say, this is what I love about Baku, is that it is such a hard track to master and not, you know, go off the track at. It's very, very hard indeed. Hulkenberg has just gone up to 8th. Valtteri Bottas has gone up to 3rd. Let me quickly update that. So Bottas is 3rd. Kimi Raikkonen is 4th. And Magnussen is in 5th. And that's what happened. Lewis Hamilton went straight on down the escape road at the castle section. Albon is 6th. Vettel is in P7. Hulkenberg is 8th. Stroll is 9th. And then Pierre Gasly is in P10. Perez P11. So Racing Point looking okay so far. Giovinazzi and Stroll goes up to 8th. I'll update that in a minute. Giovinazzi is 12th. Ricciardo is 13th. Max Verstappen, oh no, Grosjean has now gone 11th. So let me just update that. Grosjean 11th, and then Perez in 12th. That's going to be updated in a moment though, because I think Carlos Sainz is about to go massively faster than he has done so far. And he does, he goes up to P10. So this is the trouble with having to do it yourself. You have to constantly update the order. Norris now goes up to P8. So let me update that. So Norris P8. And now Perez has gone P8. This is the way this track can be. By the way, Lewis Hamilton half a second up on his lap so far. So Lewis Hamilton is about to go massively faster than his lap so far. So Gasly, by the way, has just gone up to 6th. Albon is up to 7th. Vettel is now 8th. 9th is Perez. Is it Perez? Yes, it is. And then Norris is in P10. Charles Leclerc has gone fastest. I'll update that in a moment. And then who have you got? You got Stroll. Annoyingly on Sky Sports F1, they've done that dual cam crap again. So I can't quite see the running order from where I'm at. So Hulkenberg, I believe, is in 12th. Then it's Grosjean 13th. Then I think Giovinazzi is 14th. And then Ricciardo 15th. I might as well just put Russell at the back. By the way, Kvyat is also 19th. So now Grosjean's gone up to P10. This is a... Oh, is that a crash? That's a racing point. Red flag for Lance Stroll. This finally gives me a chance to update the running order. So thank you for that, Lance. But he has crashed into the wall at turn 4, I think, or turn 3. Oh, that might be turn 2. That might be turn 2. I think it is turn 2. So, Lance Stroll off the track. Red flag. Yep, his car's destroyed. And he'll have to get that took back to the pits. And now we have a red flag. So the session will probably get going in about 5 minutes time. But again, this does give me enough time, hopefully, to update this running order. So Leclerc is fastest so far. From Hamilton second, Vettel third, Bottas fourth. That's as expected. Albon fifth, Kimi Raikkonen sixth. Pierre Gasly is in P7. Kevin Magnussen is P8. Then P9 is Sergio Perez. In 10th is Romain Grosjean. 11th is Norris in the McLaren. And then 12th is Stroll, who has just caused a red flag for Racing Point. And then Max Verstappen, for some reason at the moment, is in 13th, has not completed a strong or really a lap, a proper lap so far. Hulkenberg is in 15th. And then it's Carlos Sainz in 16th. And then Ricciardo 17th. And then Kubica 18th. Kvyat 19th. And Russell at the back. By the way, George Russell will not come out because his car has to be rebuilt after the disaster that was practice 1. So the running order, running along the bottom of your screen, is the current running order in Baku, as we are, and I'm just seeing a replay, so just lost it going into turn 2. Here's a replay. Turned in, the rear end unsettled, forced him to turn out of it, and he hit the wall. So an unstable rear end for the Racing Point there. So there you go. I'll try and post a picture of that crash in a moment. I do, though, have a quick picture of Lewis Hamilton getting it all wrong down into the castle section. Luckily for him, didn't hit the wall. Did not take that pointless risk. Let me just get that up for you guys. There you go. There you go. Yeah, was locking there. You can see locking the inside front. And when you do that into this section of the track, you have to just give it up and say, you know what, I'm going to run down the escape road. There's no point trying to turn in, because if I continue to turn in, I will have an accident. And that is what a smart driver looks like right there. So there you go. Thomas Hill asks, what has happened to Danny Kvyat? I don't know right now. I will actually quickly check what is going on with Kvyat. Russell, we know, is having his car rebuilt. No, I don't know why. I've just looked at Toro Rosso's Twitter and they haven't said anything in regards to Danny Kvyat's car. So, I don't know at the moment, but if we haven't heard anything, then it mustn't be that bad of an issue. So, we'll see. So now that we have a red flag, I'll now read out your comments to see what you guys have to say, and yeah, to keep everyone entertained during this red flag period. Astro Stevo asks track conditions, and then Count Blah says treacherous. Yep, absolutely. It's very difficult because, again, it's late in the day in Baku. You have to remember, right now in the UK, it's 20 past 2 in the afternoon. In Baku, it's 20 past 5. It's getting late in the day. The temperature's going down. And it's a dirty track because, of course, it's a street track. So it's very hard for the drivers to keep temperature in their tyres. And very hard for them not to hit the wall. For them not to lock up a tyre. So there you go. That is the difficulty of Baku. It's not a track like, say, Catalonia, where you can go around it forever and not have an accident. At Baku, an accident is always just around the corner because there are so many pitfalls at this track. And, well, Valtteri Bottas, Lewis Hamilton, Daniel Ricciardo, one of the Alfa Romeos, I don't know which one, and Lance Stroll has proved that so far that there's so many areas where you can make a mistake, can go wide, lock a brake. That's what makes Baku so difficult, is that it's just such a difficult place to drive consistently and not have an accident. And you do have to be a very good driver to, you know, get away at this track without having a big crash. By the way, I've just seen a picture, I'm going to put it on the screen, of Sebastian Vettel kissing the wall on the run down, I think, to the castle section. So let me just put that on the screen for you guys. Let me get it up. Here you go. He was just about kissing the wall there. It doesn't quite show it here, but I believe he might have said on team radio that he did indeed touch the wall. So he's running it very fine as Sebastian Vettel. Hopefully he doesn't, you know, wreck his car, because that can happen in Baku. If you push the limits too far, you can have a big accident, as now the tow truck takes the Racing Point back to the pits. Hopefully he doesn't hit a bridge. People saying it's Leclerc in the chat. Is it Leclerc? This is the thing, I can't... The only way I can tell which driver is in which car is if it's from the front angle. From this angle, I have no idea. But it's definitely a Ferrari. I think we can tell that. But whatever Ferrari it is, they are really cutting it fine against that wall on the outside. Right, let me see if there's any more comments. Nib says, by the way, great to see him in the chat. And also, just to let you guys know, he will be on the race watch-along stream on Sunday. He says, yep, you missed the replay on the TV. It was Charles. Okay. Yeah, I did have my TV paused to make sure that I updated the running order to what it exactly is. So, right, Charles Leclerc then, but no matter, cutting it fine against the wall. And now, I can now show you guys why there is a red flag. Let me just get the picture up. As Lance Stroll right now is talking to one of his Racing Point engineers. Let me quickly get up on screen the point of contact that Stroll had with the barriers. Let me just find it. Won't be too long. Hold on a minute. Let me just get it up. And I think I can now put it on the screen. Yep, there you go. So there you go, turn 2. Let me raise it slightly. There you go. Got oversteered, tried to correct it, but because it's Baku and because it's a street track, by the way, I've just seen that replay of Leclerc hitting the wall. That was quite a, not a big hit, but it was definitely noticeable. Because even Leclerc looked to see if there was any damage to his car. Oh, that's a big hit. That's massive. That's definitely caused damage to his car. No doubt about that. Surely Leclerc has damage. He smacked that wall pretty hard. And yet, there's damage to that car, I think. Maybe not massive, but it's something. By the way, Charles Leclerc, not only is he fastest at the moment, By the way, the red flags, I think, have gone in. Leclerc is fastest by 3/4 of a second. But anyway, on the screen, this is how Stroll made contact with the wall, run down into turn 2, lost the rear, and again, because it's Baku, there's nowhere for you to recover, and you just go straight into the wall. So, unfortunate for him, but street tracks do show, or do separate the men from the boys. So there you go, and yeah, the red flag has gone in, and I think we'll get running in a moment. Thomas Hill asks, who do you think will win F2 tomorrow and Sunday? I'm not going to say that guy's name who's on pole because I cannot pronounce his name to save my life. But I am going to say either Giotto or De Vries to win the feature race for the sprint. I don't know. It could be anyone. Could be Sean Galeal for all we know. So yeah, the feature race I think will be Giotto or De Vries, but the sprint race again could be absolutely anyone on that grid, except for 2 people. I don't think I need to tell you who those 2 people are. Just look at the qualifying results for F2, and I think you'll know what I mean. But yeah, green flags are waving. The track is, I think, ready to be. Yep. The green light is gone, and here comes our first car back out on track, and it is Robert Kubica in the Williams. Now, with his teammate basically out of Friday running, Kubica has to capitalise on this and get ahead of Russell when it comes to data and knowledge about the track so far. So he has to utilise this against his teammate if he is going to beat his teammate this season. McLaren have the rear end of the car not off, but they're looking at it very intensely. They have the engine cover off on the McLaren, so hopefully that is not an issue for McLaren, as we have Sebastian Vettel out on track now on the soft compound tyres. So we are now with just over 1 hour to go until the end of practice 2. I keep thinking about qualifying for some reason. Yeah, we're just over an hour until the end of until the end of practice 2, not the end of qualifying, until the end of practice 2. It looks as though we are now going to have our qualifying simulations because Vettel is out on soft tyres. I assume Charles Leclerc's out on soft tyres. That's Danny Kvyat standing out in the pit lane. So I assume that Toro Rosso have an issue with his car. That's a shame. That is really a shame. And here comes Vettel through the castle section. Let's see the time difference between medium and soft tyre. I think the time difference is probably going to be big with the way this track is. So we could see Vettel get right on Leclerc's lap time or even faster than that, because Sebastian so far is in 3rd place and 1 second off Leclerc's fastest lap time. So let's see what Sebastian can do. And now I believe, is he starting his lap? Doesn't look very fast to me, but well, let's see if he is starting his lap. But I think he might be, as he comes onto the pit straight. Does he open the DRS? Yes, he does. So this must be the start of his lap. And here comes Sebastian Vettel down to turn 1 in the Ferrari SF90. Turn 1. Absolutely perfect from Sebastian Vettel. There's a Renault coming out on track of Daniel Ricciardo, I believe. Here is Vettel into turn 2. Slight understeer, but car looked fine to me. And now comes on to the second of the DRS straights. There's a car ahead that's going to block him, I think. Yeah, it does. And Sebastian goes straight on at turn 3. So that's that lap blown. And I think that's because he was distracted by the car ahead. Also, there was probably some dirty air coming off the back of that car. And yeah, I think he might have been a bit distracted. And then spins the car around and gets going again. That's disappointing, but again, as I've said in the stream so far, this track takes no prisoners. It really doesn't. As who's this warming up? Is Lewis Hamilton? No, Valtteri Bottas on the soft compound tyres, but he's still warming up his tyres. So this lap will not be a proper lap. So he'll go for another lap to warm up those tyres. And then we should see, say in 3 or 4 minutes time, Bottas's proper lap time. As Charles Leclerc is on a lap. He's coming up to the end of the middle sector. And goes through that absolutely fine. And goes now into what is basically the pit straight through these S's. Zooms through and now he's on the pit straight. Let's see if he is actually improving. Yes, he is by an absolute mile. He's about to go very, very quick here. Charles looking fast as always around Baku. What is his lap time? He goes fastest. I can't see because Sky love a dual cam for some reason. It's a 43.5. 43.5. That is one hell of an improvement. And right now it's 1.8 seconds clear of Lewis Hamilton. Now Lewis Hamilton will improve because his lap time so far was on the mediums and he is on soft tyres, but he will not claw back 1.8 seconds. No way. As now Valtteri Bottas is coming through the middle sector, coming to the end of the middle sector. He's not on a lap though, a proper lap, is he? I don't think so. I think this is another warm-up lap for him. He's only half a second off Charles Leclerc. But this isn't a proper lap because we saw at the start of this lap him warming up his tyres. So yeah, he could go faster than this. Max Verstappen goes second, but is 1.6 seconds off. He's way off. Bottas, 3/4 of a second off Charles Leclerc's time in second. Bottas could do better than that though. Here comes Lewis Hamilton to the line on the soft compound tyres. And 0.8 of a second off. That's miles off. Now, as we know, Mercedes do not run that much power in practice sessions, but that is still a lot of time to make up. Sebastian Vettel now goes second, 3/4 of a second off Leclerc. Leclerc is really owning this track and is looking very, very good. As Alexander Albon is on a lap, and at the moment, it looks as though Albon might go into the top 6 or 7. We'll see in a moment. I just want to show another picture, though, of Lance Stroll's wrecked car. As Gasly is about to go probably up to 5th ahead of his teammate Max Verstappen. I don't know what tyres they're on, though, but here comes Albon, and Albon goes up to P7. But is almost 2 seconds off Leclerc's fastest time. That is a lot to be giving up. But let me just quickly show this. As Gasly does go up to 5th, 1 second behind Charles Leclerc's lap time. There is Stroll's wrecked car. So when it comes to the running order, I will update it once all these qualifying simulation / soft tyre runs have finished. Leclerc is on another qualifying simulation. He's done the fastest first sector and I assume is on an even faster middle sector. And here he comes. He's not too far away from the middle sector point. Let's see how much faster he is going. That's Vettel ahead. Might get a bit of a slipstream. Leclerc is just over a 10th faster than his best time so far. And yet Leclerc is going to get a mega run onto the pit straight, and Leclerc will go even faster than he has done so far. I think Vettel might be pitting. But here goes Leclerc. Vettel will not pit. Here goes Charles Leclerc. And Leclerc goes even faster, 0.2 faster. Then lets Sebastian Vettel get his slipstream, and Vettel can now start his lap. So Charles Leclerc fastest by almost 0.9 of a second. And before I talk any more, let me just have a quick drink to make sure my throat, of course, does not die. So now back to the action. Max Verstappen is on a set of medium compound tyres and is improving, I think, on his lap time so far, but it won't take him ahead of Pierre Gasly. If it does, that's embarrassing for Pierre Gasly. Here comes Max Verstappen though, and no, he stays in P6, only improves by about 0.1 on his previous lap time. Here comes Lewis Hamilton onto the pit straight in the final sector, which is all about power. He is about 0.4 of a second down so far on Leclerc's lap. Let's see how much time he's losing on the straight compared to Charles Leclerc. And Hamilton goes second. I don't know how far off. About 0.4 of a second, I think it is, or 0.5 of a second. Here comes Sebastian Vettel on the soft tyres. End of his run. Opens the DRS. He will, I assume, go second. Let's see. Crosses the line now. And he goes fastest by almost 0.2 of a second. Ferrari are looking very, very quick. They are, well, basically half a second clear of the rest of the field at the moment. Of course, though, it's only practice. Mercedes can go a whole lot faster than they are right now. Danny Kvyat looks as though he's getting ready to come out on track. That's good news for him. But, yeah, Vettel is currently fastest from Leclerc second. Again, with the running order, I'll update it once these qualifying simulations finish, because if I try to do it now, it'll be changing so much that it'll be wrong all the time. So I'd rather wait to see these runs finish. Kimi Räikkönen, only 13th in the Alfa Romeo. That's disappointing. Yeah, that is very disappointing from Kimi. And he's even 0.7 of a second behind his teammate Antonio Giovinazzi. Here comes Charles Leclerc, though, on another fastest or faster lap. He's done the fastest first sector. There goes the Ferrari to the castle. And now comes up, or is about to come up to, the end of the middle sector. And that's where we'll see how quick Charles has been on this lap so far. Oh, lost the rear end slightly there. But here he comes. And he's almost half a second up. Almost half a second up. That is very, very quick. And here he comes now onto the pit straight. And this is going to be a great lap time. He also does have a bit of slipstream from a Haas ahead. So here he comes now to smash the fastest lap time and take it into the 1:42s. What is it? A 42.8. He was actually quite slow in the final sector, but does go 0.3 faster than his teammate Sebastian Vettel. Is this Lewis Hamilton on another lap? I think it is. Yes, it is. Lewis Hamilton is on another lap. He's a 0.1 down after the first sector. Here's a picture of Charles Leclerc on that was on his run to the line. Well, not run to the line, but, you know, on his way to setting that fastest lap of all, 42.8 for the Ferrari driver. As Hamilton is now coming through the middle sector. He's just gone through the castle section. And, well, his lap time at the moment is almost a second off. So he does have to improve this lap if he wants to boost his team's hopes of a good result in qualifying. Here he comes at the end of the middle sector. 6.5 tenths down. I think, as we said, I just don't think Mercedes necessarily have the power to be as quick as maybe they were in Shanghai. And that's what is going to make it a closer fight between them and Ferrari this weekend. Here comes Hamilton to the line. And he will go... Well, he'll stay third, but is 7 tenths of a second down almost. Actually, 6 tenths of a second down. Bottas is still in fourth. 1.1 seconds down. Bottas not looking very quick. So I think now I'll quickly, if I can, update some of the running order, because I don't think some people are going to continue on their laps. So Leclerc is fastest, from Vettel second, Hamilton is in third, Bottas is fourth, Gasly is in P6, and then it's Kevin Magnussen in Gasly's P5, Magnussen is P6 rather. I'll wait to see where Albon goes, because Albon is about to come to the line and goes fifth. Fifth for Albon. That's a great lap. So Albon fifth. Gasly is down in P6 at the moment. And then Magnussen is P7. Not looking too bad for Haas at the moment, though. Max Verstappen is not on track and is in P8. Antonio Giovinazzi looking quite good in P9. P10 is Sergio Perez, who of course we know this track is very good. Kimi Raikkonen is in P11. Daniel Ricciardo, let me just try and update this quick. Daniel Ricciardo is P12. Plenty of people are now pitting because I think they're going to do the race simulation now. That's vital that they do that, considering they missed out on running in practice 1. Grosjean is P13. And Norris is in P14. But I think Norris will actually... Will he improve? I'm not sure. Not sure he will. He's on a lap, but I'm not sure he's improving. Carlos Sainz is 15th. Hulkenberg is 16th. So the Renault-powered cars are really struggling this weekend. They're really struggling. Ricciardo is the best Renault-powered runner in P12. The best Honda-powered runner is P5. I think that shows who does have, say, the best power in Formula 1. Ferrari, Mercedes, Honda, Renault. Because that's the order in terms of the best power unit in each position. Stroll is 17th, but Stroll is out of the session. 18th is Kubica, and then Kvyat is 19th. He hasn't set a lap time. 20th is Russell. He won't come out because of what happened in practice 1. Norris has pitted, and so has Valtteri Bottas. So, yeah, there you go. That is, I think that's the qualifying simulation done with. I think. I mean, they may go for another qualifying sim, but there wouldn't really be any point because they've got enough data, and here come the 2 Ferrari drivers back in to the pits. So yeah, I think we're now going to get race simulations. Who is this on a lap? That Max Verstappen? Nope, it's not. That's Pierre Gasly, who has just gone up to P5. So Pierre Gasly goes up to P5. Albon, I'll say though, very impressive at the moment. And I'll wait till this lap ends of Albon because he's only a 10th behind Gasly in a car that's definitely not a 10th slower than the Red Bull car. So Alexander Albon is really, really impressing. Really impressing. As Albon now comes to the end of the middle sector, he will get a slipstream, I think, from this Alfa Romeo ahead. So that could put him up to P5. Goes through the S's and now gets the slipstream. And I think Albon, if he is improving on his lap, will go up to P5. And yeah, tucks in for the slipstream. And goes Yeah, goes back up to P5. So Alexander Albon, P5 in the Toro Rosso. He is basically best of the rest behind the two Ferrari drivers and the two Mercedes drivers who are way out in front. Way out in front. The two Ferraris looking quite dominant at the moment. But of course, it's only practice 2. I'm sure Mercedes can go way faster than they are now. So don't think, guys, that Ferrari have this weekend wrapped up, because I can guarantee you, especially Lewis Hamilton, he will be a lot closer in qualifying than he is right now in practice 2. As we're looking at Lewis Hamilton right now on an outlap, I think. Is he on another set of soft tyres? Yes, he is. I don't know if this is a race or qualifying simulation, though. But the current running order along the bottom of your screen is, and I just saw some debris there. Don't know who that was from. The current running order running along the bottom of the screen is the live running order from practice 2 in Baku. Right, let me read out some comments from you guys, because yeah, we have a bit of a lull right now in practice 2, with about 45 minutes to go until the end of practice 2. Thomas Hill asks, what has happened to Carlos Sainz? Any news on Sainz? I don't know. I don't know. I think maybe there was an issue that he maybe reported over the radio. Maybe they were just, seeing if there was an issue in the power unit area. But now it looks as though he's about to come out on track. So I don't think there is an issue with Carlos Sainz's car, with a yellow flag in sector 1. Oh, and it's Pierre Gasly, and I think he's hit the wall somewhere around the track. I don't know where, but Pierre Gasly he's spun. Is it at turn 2 again? No, it's at turn 3. And now he's reversing. And now, come on. Get it in gear and turn. Yep, there you go. Slowly but surely. And Pierre Gasly will now, hopefully, safely re-enter the track. And he does. So Pierre Gasly, I think, went straight on, just like Sebastian Vettel did at turn 3. And here is a replay. So down into turn 3. Yeah, locks up the inside front and says, you know what? I ain't having any of a turn into turn 3 of a locked tyre. So I will go straight on. And that is the sensible thing to do. Turn 3 is very, very hard to get right, because you want to be as close to the inside of the corner as you can. But you've got a wall right there that might break your car. And also, it's very, very hard not to lock up your inside front tyre. So it's a tough corner, turn 3, especially when it's windy. And we know Baku can be windy indeed. Daniel Ricciardo is P12 right now and is currently on a better lap, as he basically just hops over the entry curve into the castle section. He now comes up to the middle sector beam, or he will be in just a moment. Oh, big lock up and goes straight down the escape road. Straight, that's where Pierre Gasly almost had an airplane crash with Brendan Hartley last year. I think he locked up the inside front again. His rear brakes are an absolute... That might be a brake failure. Or an overheating of the brakes, because his rear brakes especially look like they're on fire. And does he get back on the track? Oh, that's a bit embarrassing. He tried to get back on the track, but there was a wall right there. So he just needs to kick it back into reverse slightly, and he can get back on his way. I do want to see a replay though from his onboard, because I want to see... Oh, and his left front brake's on fire. Daniel Ricciardo's left front brake is on fire, I believe. And here we go. His right front locked up going into that corner. I don't know what corner number that is. There's so many at this track, I don't know which one it is. But he locked up the outside front And judging by the smoke coming out of his brakes, I think he has a braking issue. Or too hot of brakes. And his tyres look absolutely dead. Especially after that lockup. And yeah, I mean, that might just be a slight overheating of the brakes, but that didn't look that great from Ricciardo's point of view. Hulkenberg is now on a lap. I'm assuming the reason he's down in 16th is because he didn't go for a proper lap time, as we now, unfortunately, on Sky F1 go to an advert break. Which, of course, is fantastic. But whilst I click the red button to see more of the action, let me just quickly get a picture up of a nice onboard of Lewis Hamilton at work in his Mercedes car. Let me just get the picture up a minute. Right, let me just get this up if I can find it. There you go. There you can see the 5 times world champion hard at work around the streets of Baku. And is currently in 3rd place. Pace-wise, not looking great for that team, for Mercedes, but as I've said plenty of times, in practice, they don't tend to be that good anyway. Nib says that turn was turn 15. Okay, turn 15. Again, there's so many corners or, corner numbers. It's hard to keep count sometimes. I know, of course, number 1, 2, and 3. But with the amount of, especially 90-degree corners, it's hard to keep up at this track, for sure. Annoyingly, doesn't seem as though my red button for Sky F1 is working. So right now I'm blind to what is going on. So right now in the chat, yeah, let me know your thoughts about practice 2 so far, and then I will read out your comments. So let me just find. And by the way, for anyone wondering, of course, this is not a live showing of practice 2. I think if anyone out there knew what a watch-along is, you would know that a watch-along is not me showing you what is happening, or else I would, title it saying 2019 Azerbaijan Grand Prix Practice 2 live stream. What this is a watch-along. So you and me watch along the practice session. I provide a radio commentary with pictures and also the running order, so you guys know what is going on. That's basically what a watch-along is. So, yeah, there you go. Let me just find some comments here. Ronan Brady says, really wish the tyres would go back to last year's names. To be honest, mate, I've already got used to this year's. I think this year's actually has turned out to be fine, because no matter what, it's soft, medium, hard every weekend. Now, yes, at certain races, it might be a C4, C3, and C2, and then once we get to Monaco, it'll be a C5, C4, and C3. But during the weekend, it's soft, medium, hard, and that's really how it should be. It shouldn't be this massively complicated thing where there's, 5 or 6 different names. That's all it should be. Soft, medium, hard. So there you go. As Danny Kvyat, on his first proper lap time of the session, goes up to 16th place. Carlos Sainz, by the way, as we come back from commercial, has gone up to P5. So nice to see Carlos finding some speed there. And here's a replay of Kvyat losing the rear end slightly on the run to the S's and then the pit straight. So let me just quickly update the order. So Carlos Sainz is 6th. Albon is 7th. Oh no, 6th, sorry. Then Gasly is 7th. We've got a yellow flag in sector 1 for some reason. Now it's gone green again, so it seems someone just went slightly off base. Gasly is P7. Verstappen is now on a set of soft tyres. I'm going to leave him in P8 for now because I think he's about to go quite a bit faster. So I'll put Magnussen back down in P9 because that's likely where he's about to go. Giovinazzi 10th. And then you got Sergio Perez, the Baku specialist, in P11. Max Verstappen already 0.4 of a second down on Charles Leclerc. That's just not competitive, is it? Kimi Räikkönen P12. Ricciardo is in P13. Again, Renault not looking good. Not looking good at all. Grosjean P14. P15 is Lando Norris. 16th is now Danny Kvyat, which is good to see. Hülkenberg is P17. P18 is Stroll, and then P19 is Robert Kubica. But we're now just about to see how quick Max Verstappen can go on his qualifying simulation. So here he comes and is most likely going to go up to P5. And here he comes. Goes P4. P4 for Max Verstappen. That's a good lap. 43.7. So Max Verstappen is up to P4. Valtteri Bottas has to improve, to be honest. He's in P5 now. Carlos Sainz is now in P6. And then Alexander Albon is in P7. By the way, the reason Albon is so good at this track is, well, because he does have experience already at this track. Because he actually did win, I think, the feature race in F2 last season. So he has very good memories at this track. And it's not a surprise he's really looking quick this weekend. But as we're about to see another improved lap from Danny Kvyat, I'm just going to take another drinks break just to keep my throat from dying. So hold on a minute. Right, I'm back. And Kvyat is on for a very, very quick lap here. He could go as fast as Alexander Albon, as we have now 32.5 minutes to go until the end of practice 2. Here comes Kvyat to the line, and he will go into P7 ahead of Albon. Very impressive from Kvyat. Norris goes up to P10. So impressive lap by Kvyat there. So let me just update that. Kvyat P7. Albon is in P8 now. Gasly's dropped down to P9. I know the track is getting faster and faster, but Gasly's pace, again, not impressive, in my opinion. Norris P10. P11 is now Kevin Magnussen. In 12th is Antonio Giovinazzi, who, again, ahead of Kimi Räikkönen. Very impressive. And then you've got Perez in 13th. I will say, though, Alfa Romeo not looking that quick this weekend. They're really not looking that quick. So Räikkönen P14. And then Ricciardo P15. Again, Renault not on the pace at all this weekend. And then Grosjean 16th, Hülkenberg 17th, Stroll 18th, Kubica 19th, and Russell, of course, in 20th. So that is your live running order. But let me see if I can put any more pictures on the screen. I can't, unfortunately. Replay. Oh, Grosjean going off at turn 2 almost did the same thing Stroll did, but smartly backed out the last moment. One thing I have noticed, though, is that F1's brakes looks very on the edge of when it comes to temperature. Looks very, you know, again, on the edge of either overheating or going. The people not looking that settled at Baku. Thomas Hill, if you have Sky, which I do, by the way, have you watched IndyCar? I haven't, because the races are not on at a time that I can really make. So yeah, that's why I don't. Watch IndyCar. As another car off, it's Lando Norris in the McLaren at, I don't know what corner that is. I think that might be turn 3 again. Yes, it is. So Lando Norris rejoining the track from turn 3. Plenty of drivers have gone off today. Well, that's why we love Baku. As I think now, drivers are on their race simulations, or at least most of them are. Say, take out Danny Kvyat. Danny Kvyat is going to be focusing, I think, on qualifying simulations right now. There's a replay of Norris, and he's going to lock the inside front, I assume, and go straight on. Yeah. Did he lock the inside front? I don't know. Didn't quite see there, but definitely didn't want to turn into the corner. Sergio Perez, sorry for that, but Sergio Perez just did a monumental lockup on the inside front. Going into turn 1, that set of tyres is now completely done for. And he's going to have to box because, yeah, those tyres are done. They're dead. Danny Kvyat now improves to go P6 in the Toro Rosso. So Toro Rosso looking very, very quick. This track hasn't been too bad for them in the past. I mean, 2018 wasn't that good, but the 2 previous years, they were actually quite quick. I think Danny Kvyat in 2016 for Toro Rosso qualified in 6th or 7th. So it's not a bad track for this team. So Kvyat's 6th, Sainz is now 7th, with Albon now down in 8th. So there you go. Sebastian Vettel is currently on a race simulation lap on the medium compound tyres. I don't think, though, even though we're into the race simulations, I don't think we're going to get bored, because again, Baku is such a hard track. Drivers continue to go off track. Let me see if I can put a different picture on the screen. Yes, I can. And I'm going to put Max Verstappen on the screen this time, as Vettel passes Valtteri Bottas on track at the end of the first sector. And yeah, Vettel is definitely on a race simulation, as he is 2.7 seconds down on Charles Leclerc's best first sector. But here you go. Here's Max Verstappen on board him. And this was on board when he went up to P4. Not looking too bad for Max, but I think tomorrow, when Mercedes and Ferrari turn their power units up to full whack, something they're not doing right now, expect Max Verstappen to drop back to P5. Because, yeah, the Red Bull car just isn't quick. Let's be honest. As Vettel is now getting into the race simulations and is about to complete, I think, his 2nd lap of his race simulation. But again, guys, the running order running along the bottom of your screen is the live running order from Baku in Practice 2, with 26.5 minutes to go until the end of the session. Just want to say, don't forget to subscribe for more content like this, as I will be live at 1 PM UK time tomorrow for qualifying and the qualifying watch along, and then live again at 6 PM UK time for the review of qualifying. So make sure to subscribe and hit your notifications bell for that content coming up tomorrow. And also, comment down below what you thought of this video and what you thought of Practice 2. And don't forget to hit this video with a like, as always. But, oh, big crash. And who is that? That's a Toro Rosso. And that's a red flag guaranteed. That's a big crash. That's Danny Kvyat. Danny Kvyat pushing way too hard, it seems, going into the entry, not quite the entry to the castle section, but he's crashed on the corner before that. He's in P6 at the moment, but and his brakes are on fire, so he might want to step out that car because his brakes are all on fire now. And he wants the marshals to spray down his brakes so they don't burn the car down. But yeah, Danny Kvyat crashes, and to be honest, that's a bit of a shame because, you know, his team did well to get him out on track. He's gone up to P6, showing good pace, and then goes and has a crash. I will say the Baku marshals are not exactly having a great day, are they? Crashing into a bridge, falling over, pushing an F2 car, and now they're really failing to get his car. Oh. Right, so he's turned into the corner, rear end's come round, hit the wall, and then that's how he's lost his front left. So that is basically oversteer for you. Either the Toro Rosso car was just unstable at that moment, or he was carrying too much speed into the corner. To me, it looked fine. It didn't look like he went too deep into the corner or anything like that. The Toro Rosso car just lost quite a lot of grip at that moment. And this will ruin quite a few people's... And you can see there the dust on the track. This track is very dirty indeed. This will ruin some people's practice programs because this will now take 5 to 6 minutes out of the amount of running they can do. And, you know, we didn't have practice 1 basically, so the teams are really struggling for data and running because we've had 2 red flags in this session. Practice 1 was basically didn't happen. So this is not great for the teams. And again, this is going to limit data for race day especially. As Kvyat looks at his car, his brakes are still on fire. But it looks as though the fire on the front left has dissipated. So there you go, red flag with 23 minutes to go. The red flag will probably come in probably 5 to 6 minutes time. So yeah, and let me just take a quick break to just clear my throat a minute. But yeah, Kvyat now getting in the medical car. There's nothing wrong with him, just a typical crash at Baku. But yeah, we're gonna have the red flags out for probably 5 to 10 minutes, and here comes the tow truck. Oh no, that's not the tow truck, is it? Or is it the tow truck? I think it is. Yeah, it is. So yeah, the session will be red flagged probably for another 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll probably have 10 minutes of running left at the very end of the session. But and Nib was saying he was on a fast lap as well. We didn't, unfortunately, get to see what his first sector time was like, but he looked as though he was pushing quite hard. I don't think he was pushing too hard. I think basically what happened was the Toro Rosso car just lost the rear at the exit of the corner and hit the wall. Maybe Kvyat was asking too much of the car at that moment, but it wasn't a driver error, I don't think. I don't think it was, because the car oversteered into the wall. It wasn't like he, got right up against it and bashed the wall. Astro Stevo says red flags in a session record. If anyone remembers qualifying at Suzuka in 2009, I think that might hold the record for red flags in a session. There was about 4 or 5 during that qualifying session because everyone kept crashing. So yeah, I think that's the record. We've only had 2 today, which by Baku standards is expected. As now Sky F1 go to a commercial break, I'll just put a picture on the screen, guys, of the Toro Rosso car after the accident happened. Here you go. You can see there the front left brake on fire. The marshals eventually did come to that and make sure that it was put out. But yeah, there you go. A mangled Toro Rosso car. And I think Kvyat has now given his mechanics another job to do, and that is to repair his car ahead of practice 3, which won't be a problem. This won't take that long to fix. Of course, though, practice 3 is tomorrow, so they could take their time in repairing the car. But now we have a red flag. Guys, let me know in the chat what your thoughts are right now. If you have any questions, let me know in the chat. Because again, we have a red flag, and I don't expect the session to get underway in the next, 2 or 3 minutes. So go ahead in the chat and get asking questions or posting some comments for me to read out. Right, let me read out some comments. Finley asks, did they extend the session after missing FP1? No, they can't do that because there is so much in the weekend schedule. You got F2, I think, is F3 here? I don't know. But, you got F2, I think Porsche Super Cup is also here at Baku. So, you've got other things in the schedule. You can't just extend session times because you're then going to create a mangled schedule for the entire weekend. So, yeah, they can't do that. If the session gets red flagged basically the entire way through, they've just got to move on to the next thing in the program. And that's why you'll never see a Formula 1 Grand Prix delayed until a Monday, because they can't do that. It either happens on the Sunday or it doesn't happen at all. It's the same with practice. Either happens on the time it was supposed to happen or it doesn't happen at all. They can't... Well, they can extend sessions or delay the start of it, but only for so long. But if it gets to a point where they can't delay it anymore and there's not going to be any running, then they just have to cancel it and run it at a different time or not run it at all. So that's just the way it is with the scheduling for a race weekend. Ronan Brady, do you ever watch Porsche Super Cup? Not really. I have seen bits and bobs of it, but I've never seen like a proper race. It's something to watch, in the lead up to the Grand Prix. It's nothing that you can pay massive attention to. And Ronan Brady makes another great point. There are so many other events that they can't change the schedule. Also, this is a public road. Absolutely. I mean, for example, Monaco, you can't extend sessions for as long as you want because it's a public road. It's the same thing in Baku. So, yeah, you can only do so much. And it's really down to luck, I guess, at the end of the day. As Kvyat's car will not get towed back, it'll just get put behind the wall, ready to get took back along the escape road, I think. But we are now green flag in practice 2 with 16.5 minutes to go into the end of practice 2. And we've got some drivers out on track for their continuation of their race simulations. C7 Drew asks, what is the gap between Vettel and Hamilton? It is about half. Is it half a second? No, I think it's about 0.3 of a second or 3.5 of a second. I think between Vettel and Hamilton is a replay of Vettel, and that just shows you how cold this track is. First lap out the pits, already into turn 2, locking the outside front, and has terrible understeer into turn 2. And it shows you again the difficulties of Baku and why Baku always offers up chaos, because it's so hard to predict what the track is going to do and what the cars are going to be like around the track that offers little grip, and you can't generate any real temperature in your brakes or tyres. But yeah, Vettel and Leclerc and Hamilton and Bottas and Sainz, Albon, Gasly, Norris, Magnussen, Antonio Giovinazzi, Sergio Perez, Nico Hulkenberg and Robert Kubica are on track on their outlaps, but I think they're all going for race simulation runs. They're not going for a qualifying sim. Maybe one of the McLarens will, but I think most of them are concentrating now on race day. Nib says the reason Ricciardo is not on track is because he has no tyres left, because he has locked up too many times and destroyed them. Well, after one of his lockups into turn 1 and then again turn 15, but especially the one in turn 1, that was a terrible one. So not a surprise that he cannot go out again. But again, you have to say Renault are really off the pace. 15th and 17th. Ricciardo could go faster, I think, but still not looking good, as we've got another yellow flag in Sector 1. I'm going to assume it's turn 3. We're not seeing it right now. It's now green flag down there, wherever it is, but I'm going to assume someone went deep at turn 3. Yeah, we don't know who that was. We should hopefully in a minute see a replay. Another team that's not looking that quick, Alfa Romeo, not looking as quick as I thought they would. Toro Rosso look very quick. McLaren looking decent. Haas, not great. Racing Point, okay considering how their 2019 has gone. So the only team that's really been impressive is Toro Rosso. McLaren you could argue as well, but the real impressive team from the midfield is Toro Rosso. And at the top, you have to say Ferrari have been the most impressive team in this session because of how fast their car looks. But I do stress it's only practice. Mercedes will turn it up in qualifying and be a lot closer. And you never know, could be on pole. We've seen it before, and I'm sure we'll see it again. But let me just, if I can, I'll get another picture up of Danny Kvyat's crashed Toro Rosso car, as Vettel is on his race sim behind Kimi Räikkönen. They're both on the medium compound tyre, I believe. Yep, they are. As by the way, Bottas has the fastest speed over the finish line, 214 miles an hour. Then it's Leclerc at 211 and then Perez at 210.7. So maybe to try and fight back against Ferrari's straight line speed advantage, maybe Mercedes are going to take some wing off. And it's a smart thing to do, to be honest. As Raikkonen here, right behind Robert Kubica. Oh, that was a last minute pull out at turn 15. Kubica running quite slowly. I hope he's not pushing because, well, yeah, he looks very slow right now. And here's another angle of Kvyat at turn 7, as you just saw there for a moment. Yep, that's... Oh, no. Let me just do that. You can see that the damage on his, well, on the left side of his car. As Raikkonen continues his race sim. 11 minutes to go, by the way, guys, until the end of practice 2. And if you're wondering what I'm going to do at the end of practice 2 is I'm only just going to quickly review the session. I'm not going to stay on for very long once practice 2 finishes. So if you want to make comments and, you know, ask any questions, and make sure to put them in the next, say, 20 to 25 minutes. G7 Drew says, really hope the Ferrari upgrades help. I think we all do, so we can have a good fight at the top. Just looking. So the only drivers not on track, Russell. We know why. Stroll crashed in practice 2. Ricciardo, no tyres left. And Kvyat crashed also in practice 2. So everyone else is out on track doing their race simulation. And by the way, and yeah, Nib's just confirming to Thomas Hill there in the chat that yeah, Giovinazzi has a 10th place grid penalty for a new control electronics. So he will most likely start at the back. Will Giovinazzi, as yeah, now we officially have 10 minutes to go. Astro Stevo asks, should F1 bring in another tyre manufacturer or two? I believe we should have a tyre war again, because those days were so exciting with 2 tyre manufacturers, and I think it made it unpredictable as to who was going to be fast and who wasn't going to be fast, and it added another element to the racing. If we had that today, I think it would be great, but by the looks of it, we're not going to have another tyre manufacturer in the sport until probably, at the earliest, 2025. Maybe even later than that. So, yeah. Thomas Hill says, but we don't want a USA 2005. True, but I think 2 things caused that. One, the way the track is, the way the Indianapolis track is, and also the Michelin teams, or Michelin tyre company, brought a tyre that was not suitable to that track. And if you're wondering what my opinion on the fiasco at Indy in 2005 is, for me it's simple. Michelin caused that to happen. It was not Ferrari's fault, or Jean Tot's fault, or the FIA's fault, or Max Mosley's fault. It was Michelin's fault. They didn't bring a tyre that could last, and they caused the Michelin runners not to start the Grand Prix. So if you're ever wondering who to blame, then in my opinion, of course your opinion will probably be different, but in my opinion, Michelin caused that Grand Prix to be the disaster that it was. And it was a disaster. But let's see what's going on track. That's Lance Stroll watching the action on track, I think. Got 8 minutes left now in practice 2. Valtteri Bottas is on a race simulation on the soft compound tyres. One of his tyres, though, looks terrible. Who is that? Down the escape road, it's Antonio Giovinazzi down the escape road at turn 15 on the medium compound tyres. He's done the same thing Daniel Ricciardo did, as yeah, Bottas continues on his race sim. But yeah, Giovinazzi, I believe, is still trying to get out of the escape road at turn 15. And Bottas comes into the pits, and I think he should, because I think, can't quite see it there, but I thought I saw one of his tyres very badly marked up. Let's see. Yeah, I think his right front tyre was looking in a bit of pain as he does a burnout on the exit of his pit box. And Giovinazzi, by the way, has now got going again. So the yellow flag has gone in, and it's now green flag racing. With 6.5 minutes to go, as they're showing a serrated rear wing for Mercedes. I did see that yesterday, and that was quite interesting to see that from them. So that's a new upgrade, I believe. I've got to read it out. JB says, excited for Azerbaijan. Another terrible pun, but I had to read it out. I just have to. Yeah, I am. I think practice is already showing that we're in for a very chaotic weekend. You know, drivers going off. The temperature is not great for the cars. People are locking up a lot, having very leery moments. So, yeah, I think we're in for a good weekend. I think it's definitely going to be a better weekend than Shanghai. I think because it was the 1000th Grand Prix, Shanghai was never going to be it was never going to be a great race because the expectations were too high anyway for that Grand Prix, because it was the 1000th Grand Prix, and we were all hoping that it was going to be an amazing classic race to celebrate the 1000th race in Formula One history, even though again it was never really going to be that because expectations were as high as they were. Lance Stroll, by the way, I want to compliment the Racing Point mechanics. They've got Stroll ready to come back out on track. That's very impressive that they got the car fixed. I know the car was not too far away from the pits, but that's impressive. That's very impressive. But now I am going to put a picture of the man in second place on the screen, Sebastian Vettel. So if you're wondering, Leclerc is fastest, of course, from Vettel second, Hamilton third. Leclerc is 0.3 faster than Vettel, and then Vettel is about 3.5 faster than Hamilton. And then Hamilton is what? 2.5 faster than Verstappen. And then Bottas, another 0.2 behind Verstappen. Bottas over a second off Charles Leclerc, so he's not looking good so far this weekend. Here is, though, Sebastian Vettel as he was closely following ex-teammate Kimi Räikkönen. Ferrari are showing the speed we expected them to have. They are looking as quick as I expected them to be. And hopefully, Ferrari, you can continue this because we need you to. Oh god, we've got some puns now coming in the chat. Let me see if I can read out as many as I can. Thomas Hill says fantastic. Thomas Hill also says Barcelona next as well. Yep, indeed, Barcelona is next, and that's normally where they go well. If you look at last year. And I'll cap it off with JB saying the puns has to be said. Indeed. Eventually we should probably just do a video doing the most amount of Haas puns we could possibly do, because it's basically a normal thing now. But we now have 3 minutes to go until the end of practice 2. Been a very chaotic session, you have to say. Yellow flag in sector 2. I'm going to assume that's turn 15. I'm going to assume that is turn 15, that someone has gone off. I don't know. We're not seeing right now who has gone off. I'd like to see it, Mr. Director. But we're not. We're seeing Nico Hulkenberg down into turn 1. I'm assuming he's going to lock up. Oh no, something fell off the back of his car. I don't know what that was, but that's not what you want to have happen. And here's a replay. It's Romain Grosjean going straight on before turn 8, 9, 10, 11 / the castle section. Now 2 minutes to go. As the man on screen, well, on our screen, Sebastian Vettel we have, but on the TV screen, it's Charles Leclerc, who you have to say is the favourite for pole position at the moment for tomorrow, because the Ferrari car looks quick and he looks very, very quick at a track that he has always gone well at. So looking good for Charles. And hopefully tomorrow and on race day he can kickstart his and Ferrari's championship bid, because if they don't win tomorrow on Sunday, if Ferrari don't win and Mercedes do, then I think Ferrari's championship hopes are dead. Considering, of course, that Mercedes have had a 1-2 in the first 3 races. Even though in Bahrain, let's be honest, Ferrari should have had a 1-2 speed-wise, but didn't because they bottled it. As a yellow flag in sector 1. I think that's turn 3 again. Yeah, that's turn 3. Someone's gone straight on again. I'd love to see who it is, Mr. Director. But we're not seeing. There it is. Who is it? I think that's Max Verstappen's teammate, Pierre Gasly. Yes, it is. Verstappen came across his teammate then, reversing out of turn 3. That must be the 5th driver to go down the escape road at turn 3. As he now lets through a racing point. I don't think that's Lance Stroll, though. Here's a replay of Gasly. He's wearing up the left front, and yeah, he's going to... That is funny. So Gasly's gone down the escape road. There was already someone reversing out of the escape road as he went down it. Oh my god, that just... Yeah, who is that? That's a Haas of... So Grosjean has already gone down the escape road. He's progressively reversing out, and then Gasly comes charging in and almost hits the back of Grosjean. I think that pretty much sums up this practice session. And today in Baku, a chaotic day around the streets of Baku, as practice 2 has now officially finished. As we now see her from across the line. So, Charles Leclerc ends practice 2, the first real practice session of the 2019 Azerbaijan Grand Prix. He ends it fastest from Sebastian Vettel 2nd, Lewis Hamilton 3rd, Max Verstappen 4th, Bottas 5th, Kvyat 6th, Sainz 7th, Albon 8th, Gasly 9th, and then Lando Norris in P10. Replay of Vettel going down the escape road at turn 4. And then spinning his car around. That's another person down an escape road. Magnussen P11, Giovinazzi P12, Perez P13, Raikkonen P14, 15th is Ricciardo, 16th Grosjean. Oh, what are you doing, Magnussen? Sorry, I have to look at that. So on the run down to turn, that's at turn 13, on the run down to turn 15, Hamilton is trying to go, I don't know if Hamilton's trying to pass Magnussen or Magnussen's trying to, I don't know what was happening there, but that looked very, very dangerous. As I was saying, Ricciardo 15th, Grosjean 16th, Hülkenberg 17th, Stroll 18th, and then the 2 Williamses at the back of Kubica and Russell. But I want to see a replay of that. That looked very scary, very, very scary, between K-Mag and I think that was Lewis Hamilton. So hopefully we get a replay of that. I really want to see what happened. That looked very interesting. So hopefully we get a replay of that. I don't think we will, though. What happened? Come on, show us. There's Lewis Hamilton in the pit box. I think they're trying to find the replay at the moment. Hopefully they show it. Here we go. So out of the castle section. So Lewis Hamilton's gone up the inside on the turn 13. And Magnussen, I don't know what to... From Hamilton's on board, it doesn't really show... I have to say, that's Magnussen's fault for that incident happening. That is because Hamilton was clearly alongside him for plenty of time, and then he decided to turn in. He's waving at Hamilton, but Hamilton put it up the inside saying, you know, I'm coming through. And Magnussen just tried to turn in. As Nib's saying in the chat, it is very weird, but I think if you're going to apportion blame, you're going to have to apportion it to Kevin Magnussen, because Hamilton had enough of his car alongside for enough time for Magnussen to... you know, spot that he was there. And I think he did know he was there, but just didn't want Hamilton to pass him for some reason. But yeah, there you go. That is practice 2. And the running order, the final running order of practice 2 is running along the bottom of your screen. And as we come around to P1 on the running order, I'll once again read out what exactly has happened. So your final results are Charles Leclerc fastest, from Sebastian Vettel in 2nd, Lewis Hamilton 3rd, Max Verstappen 4th, Valtteri Bottas in 5th, Danny Kvyat 6th, Carlos Sainz in 7th, Alexander Albon 8th, Gasly 9th, Norris 10th, Magnussen 11th, 12th Antonio Giovinazzi, 13th Sergio Perez, 14th Kimi Raikkonen, 15th Daniel Ricciardo, 16th Romain Grosjean, 17th Nico Hulkenberg, 18th is Lance Stroll, 19th Robert Kubica, and 20th, not doing a lap, George Russell. So those are your results for practice 2 here in Baku. But I'll quickly, if I can, throw a picture on screen of a Ferrari, because of course they've ended the day fastest, so we might as well picture wise kind of lead off with them. And I've got a great picture of Sebastian Vettel. Might make you feel a bit sick considering the angle it's at, but I'll put it on the screen anyways, and we'll do a quick review of how everyone got on. Let me just get it up. And here you go. Let me just lower it there. That's the Ferrari, of course, of Sebastian Vettel. So let's go team by team. Mercedes, as expected, I don't think they'll be disappointed because I think they know they can be a lot closer in qualifying. So I think for them, you know, an okay start. Of course, they don't want to be on the third row at the end of qualifying, but again, I think they will be a lot closer in qualifying. And as we know, mistakes can happen from the Ferrari drivers, so pole position is not out of the question. Ferrari have the best car at the moment. Whether that will continue into qualifying day, who knows? But I think Ferrari do have the best car right now, and they really should. They really should get pole position and possibly the front row if the drivers don't make any mistakes on track. Red Bull, with Max Verstappen, about as quick as I thought he'd be. For Pierre Gasly, not good enough. Again, I mean, he's down in P9 behind both Toro Rosso drivers and Carlos Sainz. Now, yes, I think, you know, Kvyat, Sainz and Albon, I think they set their lap times after Gasly did, so they had a better track condition. But that doesn't matter. The Red Bull car is clearly faster than the McLaren and the Toro Rosso. It shouldn't be in that position. So Pierre Gasly does have to step it up tomorrow in qualifying. Who's next? Renault. Renault been terrible. No pace whatsoever. Locking up all over the place. No speed on the straights. If you're a Renault fan or a Daniel Ricciardo or Nico Hulkenberg fan, I would get ready for quite a difficult qualifying. Even if you do improve, you're going to be in a very, very tough battle. But right now for Renault, not looking good whatsoever. Next up is McLaren. The reason I say their pace is decent is because they did set their best lap times a lot later after everyone else. And that's why, you know, they ended up in the positions that they did, because they had better grip than other cars and other drivers. So I think their pace is decent. I think they're in there for a top 10 in qualifying. But I don't know yet for sure if they're going to be as strong as they were in the results of practice 2 in qualifying. We'll have to see. But looking, I think, good for McLaren. For Alfa Romeo, not as quick as I thought they'd be. I thought they'd be quicker than that. I thought Kimi Raikkonen would be higher up than P14. Giovinazzi was even ahead of him in P12. Antonio looking good for once. Hopefully he continues that, even though he does have a 10-place grid penalty for a new control electronics. But yeah, Alfa not as good as I thought they were going to be. So hopefully they can improve for qualifying. Next up is Haas. Haas are about where I thought they'd be. You know, around the top 10 with Kevin Magnussen, but nothing that special. Romain Grosjean, you have to say, cannot get used to this track. He really cannot. He's been going off all over the place, locking up. So Grosjean not looking good. Magnussen looking better, but Haas as a team not looking good. And I think for the weekend, because of the temperatures and the way the tyres are, I think Haas are basically going to struggle during this weekend. Next up is Toro Rosso, who were the most impressive team in the midfield, P6 and P8. I know Kvyat, again, did his lap time quite a bit after other people, but still impressive. Albon, P8, very impressive. He's been consistently fast during this practice session. So Toro Rosso as a team, looking good. But as we've seen before, in 2019, in practice, Toro Rosso tend to be good, and then in qualifying, they tend to disappoint. So hopefully that does not happen tomorrow in qualifying. Racing Point, well, with one of their cars, Lance Stroll, they couldn't really get, you know, a proper eye in as to where they really are with both cars. But with Perez in 13th, you have to say, based on how quick the Racing Point car has been in 2019, that's about right for where they have been. So not a surprise, not great or anything like that, but not a surprise where they are pace-wise at the moment. They'll be looking to really improve for qualifying because, again, this track has tended to be their best track on the calendar, and they won't want to miss that golden opportunity of having a great qualifying and great Grand Prix this weekend, where we know chaos can happen. And of course, Williams are at the back, and they will stay firmly at the back in qualifying and the Grand Prix. The only thing I have to say really is George Russell. He does have a tough weekend ahead because he's now in practice 3. He now has to try and get some sort of balance going before qualifying, and we know qualifying in Baku can be quite tough. So not looking great for Russell, but there you go. But before I go, guys, let me know in the chat any final thoughts as to what's happened in practice 2 ahead of qualifying, and then I'll come off the stream. I'll read out 3 more comments from the live chat, and then we'll come to the end of the stream. Victor Tran, both Toro Rossos ahead of Gasly, not good optics. Exactly. That's the last thing Pierre Gasly needs, is Toro Rosso and their drivers to be quicker than him. Because if that is the case, then he, with his poor performances, is making Red Bull's decision as to whether they're going to replace him or not easier, because then they just select one of the Toro Rosso drivers that are clearly faster than him. So, yeah. Let me find some more comments here. Astro Stevo. Well, if the race is anywhere near as dramatic as this practice has been, we're in for a good one. Yeah, if it is as dramatic as this, then yeah, we are in for a great Grand Prix, because again, Baku, the conditions of the track and the way the weather is and the way that, again, the track conditions are, you can never, sit in for an easy race around Baku. You never can, because it's such a difficult track to consistently drive around and not have an accident or make a mistake. And that's why I think we all now do love Baku. Riri Hoshino says, I would say that there will be changes in both Red Bull and Toro Rosso teams soon. Well, if Gasly continues the way he's going, then yeah, I agree. And the final comment or question goes to Joe Youssef, who says, I just tuned in. What happened with the 2 Renault drivers? Basically, plenty of lockups, not great speed from both Renault cars, and Ricciardo couldn't go out anymore in the final, 25 minutes, because he locked up so many times he had no tyres left. So for Renault, I have to say Renault are looking the worst midfield team at the moment. I don't think they will be like that in qualifying, but coming out practice too, you have to say, not looking good at all for the Renault Works team. But guys, that is now the end of this practice 2 watch along, and thank you guys as ever to coming along for this and being a part of the stream as you always are. putting in your fantastic puns and fantastic comments. So thank you for that. And don't forget, this is very important, don't forget to subscribe for the content coming up on the channel tomorrow. So again, I will be live at 1 PM UK time for the qualifying watch along, and then the qualifying review will go live or start live at 6 PM UK time. Those are the key times for tomorrow. Make sure to come along and be a part of those streams. And yet we'll be there covering qualifying tomorrow, and it should be hopefully qualifying very exciting. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications bell for that content. Either bottom right of the screen, you can do it right there, or go to my homepage, subscribe and hit the notifications bell. Like this video, comment down below what you thought of this video, and comment down below what did you think of the events of practice 2, and also what are you thinking going into qualifying. And also, don't forget to join our Discord server. We have over 150 people in that server. Have about, I think, 160 odd now in that server. That is the hardcore Chazza HD F1 community, and also that is the best place for notifications for my videos and streams. So if you want the best place for notifications, go and join that server, link below in the description. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Chaz6110. Link, I don't think there is a link in the description, but it's at Chaz6110 if you want to follow me on Twitter. Great place to keep up to date with me and what I'm doing with the channel and what I'm doing in general. And also check out my website chazzahd.com for more content like this. But guys, until qualifying tomorrow for the 2019 Azerbaijan Grand Prix, live 1 PM UK time on this channel, it has been me, Chazza HD. Goodbye.